Nerd Academy podcast is released weekly at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, available on our website at www.thenerdacademypodcast.com and wherever you listen to podcasts. You can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. You can also help support the show by going to patreon.com/The Nerd Academy podcast, where every donation allows us to bring you more exciting content every week.
Good morning, class, and welcome back to the Nerd Academy podcast, your source for nerddom news and commentary. I am currently camping, as is your resident Green Lantern, Professor Travis Grossman.
It's Baja season.
It's Baja season, baby.
And I'm
hot
happy.
Baja summer. That is what's going on. But, like I said, we are going to be in the woods when you see this. Probably getting rained on.
Murdering and eating other humans.
Yes, absolutely. Travis and I have to make our yearly sacrifice to summon our Italian eldritch being, that being the Skingili man. AC shut itself off. That scared me. As I said, Skingili man.
Don't say it again.
Anyway, we aren't going to leave you guys completely high and dry this week. Travis and I are here to give you a review of the most recent episode of Loki. No news, just Loki. And with that said, we're going to jump right into it. Not going to be a super long episode, guys. Just a little something to gnaw on. Travis, Loki thoughts. Thoughts on
Worst
Loki.
episode. Worst episode this season. Worst one. Reason? My name. Right here. Right here.
Okay.
Why? Who let it through the writing room that Mobius would not be driving Lightning McQueen? It's owned by Disney. Missed an opportunity.
Part of me wants to be like, Travis, I think that's a bit much.
No. It would have been the best joke in the MCU. Hands down.
That's
I'm
bordering.
kidding.
Yeah, of course.
I'm half kidding. I thought of it during the episode and was like, this would have been the funniest shit I've ever seen. Obviously, it did not detract from the episode. It's a very great episode.
Yes, yeah, I know. I see. Part of me is like, oh, that's too much. But then again, I'm the guy who was hoping Tony Stark would say "no shit, Sherlock" to Stephen Strange.
I also wanted that. To be fair, I also wanted that.
But yeah, no, I agree with you. This was incredible. Every episode has been my new favorite episode. So, in keeping with that, that's very much the case here. Obviously, Travis, incredible job in the episode as Alligator Loki. Phenomenal job.
That's my alligator. I've been taking classes on how to speak.
Not speak alligator, just speak.
Yeah, that too.
That was the noise that you made at Kate Heron to get the job.
Yeah. Fun fact, when I bit off Vote Loki's hand, that was not prosthetic. I actually bit off Tom Hiddleston's hand.
It was the last thing this show. Watch the rest of the show carefully. You'll never see Loki's right arm in the shot. Also, I am surprised that they gave us one extra Tom Hiddleston Loki variant, and I'm so glad they used it on that one.
Me too. And I didn't think about it when I said it last week that like it's like they've meticulously not used Tom for the other Lokis, except for I must have missed it when they're first hunting Sylvie, and they're like, we're hunting a Loki variant. It's flashing Loki variants up, but those are all Tom Hiddleston.
Some of them are. Some of them were in President Loki's gang.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
like
realized
the
like
one
a
that was
couple of
built
them.
the one that was built like a brick shit house is
Yeah.
with President Loki, and was not
Yeah.
Tom.
Oh, was not?
Yeah, it was
I
not
thought it
Tom.
okay. It just like I noticed one of them had his face or like it was him, but like
Yeah,
anamorphed into something else. And I was like, oh, okay. So and like that makes sense to do it then, just because you're not meeting the character
yeah.
and like you're trying not to lead on that you're going to meet a completely different person. But it, yeah, like I don't know why I didn't think that it was going to be a different Loki. Like, I guess in my head I was like, yeah, he'll just put on the button because he'll think it's funny.
Oh, here's the thing. First of all, I had like a mini theory that I was like considering that I never brought up, and it was that President Loki would be the antagonist. But this is also still with the framework of Sylvie being the bad guy. So I'm glad I never brought that up because I would have been wrong all across the board with that assumption. I also kind of like the idea that even though the actor isn't Mr. Hiddleston, we could, in theory, still have Lokis that look relatively the same in classic Loki and Kid Loki. It's just that whenever
They're next
Tom
to them
Hiddleston
happen.
Loki ages by a couple thousand years, he turns into Richard E. Grant. And when he was a kid, he would look like that, you know? But yes, a phenomenal episode. Alligator, crocodile, Loki, whichever one it is, was hilarious.
It is
Alligator. This is the first time I found a gator cute. Crocodiles and alligators both terrify me. I wish I was much of an animal lover as Alexis, but I cannot be.
You should look at
Because
the pop for Alligator Loki.
oh, I saw it.
It's the cutest
I'm
little
good.
thing you ever did see.
Yep, it is, and
He's
it's a
got
Hot Topic exclusive, and Hot Topic's about to make some money off of me.
He's got those big eyes. He's smiling.
He's smiling. Part of me wanted to just get Kid Loki because A, the sword, and B, Gator Loki's like wrapped around him. Other fun little Kid Loki and Gator Loki thing. Did you notice that whenever they start making the illusions to escape the Loki brawl, that in the illusion, Kid Loki does get help with Gator Loki?
No, wait.
He gets helps.
Yeah, that's
He
really
get
funny.
helps. Yeah. I was
Get
trying to
help.
figure the way to spit that out. It was a little more difficult than expected. So I'm not gonna do the victory lap yet because we're gonna be in the woods while the final episode airs. But Eliath, the Void, that castle house that could be Immortus's domain. Travis, I feel really good going into the final episode.
I can't imagine why.
So
I don't remember the desk girl's name. The one that Sylvie was fighting.
Ravonna Renslayer.
Renslayer. Thank you. Do you think she's in on it, or is she like morbidly curious? I can't tell.
I can't either. I feel like she knows that there's shit she doesn't know. Like I think she knew, like going into this situation, that there was stuff that she was left out of.
I feel like
the question is she okay with being left out? Does she want to actually know now? Like, what's happening there?
Yeah, I think the vibe I picked up was either like this is assuming it's Immortus Kang, whatever, right? She knows and she's trying to protect that person because of their personal relationship, or she was in. Was that your air conditioner?
Yeah, it turned on.
Okay. Mildly terrifying. Um,
We can hear it turn on, but we can't hear it run. I think that's weird.
it's faint, but it's there. And again, it was not there when we first started using it. I don't know why all of a sudden.
So I was going back and listening, especially to this most recent episode, while I was trying to clip it for the posts. You can't hear it. I can't hear it in the actual show, in the actual mix. I can't hear it. I forget that it's on. Oh, that breeze feels nice. Okay. Keep talking. I apologize. But no, I like that idea. Like she's trying to cover
protect
Mortis's ass.
She's so deep into the TVA that like she doesn't care who's at the top. She just wants to know who's at the top so she can like devote herself to them. That like whatever the TVA is doing, she is so like gung ho about. Like I don't care.
I like that read.
Yeah,
I think that's interesting.
That's what it felt like to me. I'm not sure, but
yeah. Well, I think it'll be interesting. I think that Kang is definitely a villain worth giving a lot of breathing room to develop. And I think that this, is the perfect opportunity to. It looks like we are starting to see the slow build of where the MCU is going. At this point in time, I have seen Black Widow. Travis has not.
Nope.
And I like that there are two paths in the wake of Avengers Endgame that the MCU is taking at once. I like where everything is going, and I've always had this like secret hot take that I never wanted to share because I was like, I don't know how to like explain this well, but I'm just going to put this out there and just say this. Phase 3 should have ended, and Phase 4 should have been made up of the movies that kind of make up the tail end of Phase 3. So that you could fit stuff in like a Secret Avengers movie. And a Black Widow movie. And like get some more of these characters established so that they can be a part of Infinity War and Endgame. Like was the plan, like in the same way that, Ike Perlmutter prevented a Black Panther and a Black Widow and a Captain Marvel movie. They got them in where they could. But I get the vibe that we're going to have a much more lived in, even more moving parts universe going by the time the next big bad decides to put their balls on the table and wants to throw down with the heroes of the MCU. That things are going to be a lot more complicated than they were the last time. And there were no standing Avengers the last time. And there aren't right now either. So I really like where things are going on both fronts. Classic Loki's the best. I love Richard E. Grant. That's the homie. His whole scene reanimating Asgard,
that was
glorious purpose. Oh my god, I was giddy. I was giddy watching that scene. It was so good. He is so good. Why? I miss you already. It was my favorite thing I think I've seen in this show thus far.
He'll be back.
He better be.
No one dies in shonen anime.
Oh, you shut the hell up.
I think we're at the point now in the MCU where death is never final, too. Like,
we're going full comic book.
I think we're going full.
realsies.
I think we're at full comic book now. Like, which is like good and bad, right? You never feel like the finality. I think that's kind of the point of losing Tony and Cap when we did, and even then, like it doesn't feel like we lost Cap. Right, and there's the rumors of Chris Evans coming back, and there's always a way for them to bring him back.
Well, at this point, listen. If Chris Evans comes back as Captain America with any amount of permanence,
I don't think it'll be with permanence, because getting him now for more than like an appearance in a movie or two would be a lot. So I feel like it's one of those, like, there's somewhere in time that, like, maybe he continued his work a little bit when he was living in secret with Peggy or something, and like we see him in the 70s if we're time traveling or something. I don't know, but
that's interesting. That's a very interesting idea, and I like it a lot.
Because we know Peggy still worked with S.H.I.E.L.D., right? Like, even though she was married to Steve, she would have still had to be running S.H.I.E.L.D. for a while. So she was like, hey, honey, I know you're retired, but you're also, like, a super soldier. Can you get on this and, like, get down to Cuba for a minute? They got some missiles we got to get rid of.
Yeah. Oh, that's an interesting prospect. Having Cap active for a little bit. Do you... do you want a second season of Loki?
No.
Because, like,
I don't
know.
I never want a second season of any of these Disney Plus shows. And I say that because of... not because I think, like, the shows are bad or they don't deserve it or haven't earned it. I think that looking at these shows as TV shows isn't doing credit to what they're doing. Or not that it isn't doing credit, but, like, isn't quite encompassing their purpose, their glorious purpose, right? And again, it's the same reason why now with the, like, MCU movies, none of them get numbers. We have not had a numbered sequel except for Iron Man, and the only reason we had the Iron Man ones was because they didn't know what else to do, right? Like, they'd already done one Iron Man 2 because they weren't sure how much further they were going to be able to get. And then after that, they're like, well, we got to make a third Iron Man. Iron Man 3. We're doing it. So the idea of direct sequels, of direct, like, follow-ups does not exist in the MCU. And I think a second season of a show...
we also have the word from Kevin Feige about how, for the most part, they're not doing the massive multi-picture deals anymore.
Right. Well, actually, especially if you hit it in the MCU, you're now, like, the biggest actor in Hollywood. Like, Robert Downey Jr. became the biggest actor in Hollywood for a little bit. And for kind of still is. Like, he made his I can do whatever project I want now money. I can do Doolittle if I want now money. Right?
Yeah.
It's the same reason getting Chris Evans back. Like, the reason they have Chris Hemsworth is because Chris loves doing Thor. So he's willing to, like, just stick around and hang out. But if he left, they wouldn't be able to pay him enough to get him back, right?
Yeah.
So beyond that issue, the idea of a season 2 of a show would imply it's like a direct follow-up, right? If we got a season 2 of WandaVision, the audience that isn't us would expect it to follow up immediately from however Wanda leaving the house and what's her face getting talked to by a Skrull. Or end credit scene with like Wanda hopping the multiverse. But we know her follow-up from that is going to be in Doctor Strange. Right? The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. You can't have a season 2 of Falcon and the Winter Soldier because Falcon isn't Falcon anymore. He's Captain America. So if you call the second season Falcon and the Winter Soldier, your title's wrong. Sorry.
Yeah. And not to mention you already had the follow-up there being developed in the fourth Captain America movie.
Exactly. So I think we'll never get a season 2. We might get a sequel series, or like Loki might get another mini series if that's how Tom wants to continue his MCU career. If he wants to continue his MCU career, that like here's this side character that wouldn't sell well at the box office with their own movie, or that the story that we want to tell with this character could not fit into 2 hours. Let's make it a show. That's how Loki got his show. You couldn't tell this story in 2 hours.
No.
At least well.
No.
Yeah, right? So give him 6. Give him 6 on your streaming service where you can break it up into reasonable chunks. People eat the shit out of that. It's Loki, right? So I don't think we're going to ever get a season 2. I think that like we might get another TVA themed or timeline themed miniseries starring Loki, depending on where they end up at the end. But I just crooked my camera. Nope, still crooked. Go ahead and talk.
No, but that was my whole thing. Was that, like I don't know how you do season 2 for this. Like it's kind of running up on the same issue that like every MCU show hits, where it's like the premise has changed so much by the end of the story. Like I don't know where you go from here. Like how do you market a season 2 after you blew the bloody doors off of what season 1 everybody thought season 1 would be,
And that's kind of how all these shows have been, right? Like WandaVision, right? Vision's out somewhere in the world and Wanda is now the Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
And slated to be in another movie. Falcon and the Winter Soldier ends with the title card of the show being changed.
Yeah. Yeah. Unless they retroactively change the name of the show.
And I don't think they will. Because then, like, if someone's discovering it, that takes away the whole be at the end, right? Like, that ending feels so good because it's the title card changing.
Yeah. Right?
It's like this character is now recognized as Captain America. He was not until this moment. But yeah, it like to sum that up, I think viewing these miniseries as their own kind of 6-hour MCU movies, or 8 hours with WandaVision, is probably the best way to look at them. So if we ever get a sequel, it will not be WandaVision season 2. It'll be like the Scarlet Witch or Wanda Maximoff or something. Like it'll be its own separate thing. And that's assuming they're not going to move into movies with these guys, right? Like part of the thing about the series is that they could work on them and have them separate while working on movies. But now, like, Scarlet Witch would probably sell a movie. because
Yeah.
like you can set these characters up to sell movies now based on their shows. Captain America 4.
Yep. I think you are very right. And one of the things that I am looking forward to the most is the interconnectivity between. For those of you at home, I was scratching my wrist with my watch, and you couldn't see it around my screen. That's why I'm doing this weird hand waving thing. I'm scratching my wrist. I know, but I get nervous and I chew my nails, so I don't have any nails left to scratch my.
No,
so.
no, I wasn't even using my nails. I was just palming my wrist.
Doesn't feel quite the same as like the edge of like a metal wristband. We wonder why I have all these weird bumps and scratches all the time. But I'm very excited to start seeing the interplay between the shows and the movies that really goes full tilt in the hay. You need to be watching all of it.
That's something else too, is that like we get a lot more behind the scenes stuff, right? Like they had to dump a lot of information on us in Endgame and Infinity War about Thanos, and we still really didn't get everything.
Like his nifty little helicopter we saw in this episode, best part of the episode, best MCU project,
makes up for the Lightning McQueen thing. It makes up for it.
There's a lot of Thanos copter.
There's a lot of stuff in this episode.
Living Tribunal's head, giant ass yellow jacket helmet.
Yeah, I also know we said no news, but did you hear he's coming back for Ant-Man?
I did see the rumors about that, yeah.
Yeah, it was rumors, but still.
I know. I
covered by major trades. So
yeah, covered by major trades. Feels real, probably is real.
So that's cool.
Yeah.
What was I saying? Yeah, like the explanations of how the TVA operates and like how they actually manipulate time. You could not put that in a movie.
No.
Right? Like if you're an hour 45 into a movie and you're just now explaining that, wouldn't work. Top of an episode for a TV show, perfect.
I am so stoked. I keep saying that, like, oh yeah, Tuesday night, gonna be up all night watching it. That is not a thing. Unless we all pile into a car and go to Sheets and just watch it in somebody's car at 3 a.m.
Just have the phone up. The audio's terrible. No one can hear it. Barely anyone can see it.
I was gonna say bring a laptop to connect to Sheets' Wi-Fi. And then from outside in the car, like audio jack the computer into the car. So everybody can hear it.
Work. At least I don't have a cable for that.
No, I don't have it. I don't think I have an aux at the moment either. But we'll be back with a review of the final episode, which will then be followed by a season review. And there will also be a review for Black Widow in there as well. Once we're all back, and Travis and whomever else will be joining us for that sees said movie. But in the meantime, Travis, any final thoughts on this episode?
Show's good.
I concur. Show is quite good, and I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good about this final episode. I don't think I'm gonna get dick joked. One of the other like really interesting Kang connections. The company that the version of Kang, who's just like a normal dude in Avengers Forever, his company's just called Kang, but it's like spelled with a Q or whatever. That giant Stark/Avengers tower, in very faded text on it, says Kang. Also with Easter eggs, obviously Journey into Mystery is where Thor and Loki had for their first appearances. Which great episode title. Well, if that is all, I'm not even going to bother plugging our socials because people know where they can find us. And it's not like we will be able to respond to anything with any amount of prudency either way. But this little operation we have going here, however, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, the Nerd Academy podcast. Check out the website.
It's the name of the thing. Just type it
It's
in.
the name of the thing. It's the name of the thing. See? Right down there. Right down there. Right down there. Right there. Type that in. Type that in wherever you go. Expect a bonus episode of Knights of the Nerd Republic to just be like a versus series drop. By the time you guys see this, I will have already put up a Twitter poll to see who people want to see. For that, that's assuming I have some of those files still on hand. So yeah, look forward to that in your feed. Other than that, we'll be back. Thank you all so very much for listening. Obviously, like, comment, share, subscribe. Shout out to website. Go to the Patreon. Speaking of the patrons, thank you to the $10 alumnus, Case and Brion, the Waffle Wizard, Delta 9, Zach Canals, and Never Gonna Give You Up, Never Gonna Let You Down, Never Gonna Run Around or Desert You. I'll also say it again. Never Gonna Give You Up, Never Gonna Let You Down, Never Gonna Run Around or Desert You. Apologies in advance, because whenever we dropped that Versus Series episode, that was recorded before your pledge. So, say it. I said it a second time to make up for the fact that you aren't in whatever we dropped from the Versus Series. TeePublic, buy merch, support us. Class dismissed. We're going to the woods. Bye-bye.
Move away from the cookie jar.